What does betrayal look like when it happens on a galactic scale? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's review is Galaxy in Flames by Ben Counter, the third novel in the Horus Heresy series, and one of the most important and devastating books in the entire Warhammer 40,000 universe. If Horus Rising introduced us to the Brotherhood of the Legionis Astartes and false gods planted the seeds of corruption, Galaxy in Flames is where those seeds explode into open war. Before we begin, a quick note from me. This review will be light on spoilers, but discussing this book without mentioning certain events is impossible. I'll avoid major twists where I can, but consider this your spoiler warning. Now, Galaxy in Flames was published in 2006 and continues the narrative of Horus Lupercal's fall from grace. At this point in the story, Horus is War Master of the Imperium, commanding immense loyalty from his Space Marine legions. What makes this book so important is that it depicts the first open act of the Horus Heresy, the moment when betrayal stops being whispered and becomes undeniable. The events here reshape the Imperium forever and set the tone for everything that follows in the series. In Warhammer terms, this is a historical novel about a mythic disaster. Everyone knows how it ends, but watching it unfold is what makes it powerful. The story centers around the Istvan III campaign, where Horus and his fellow traitor Primarchs begin purging their legions of warriors still loyal to the Emperor. Rather than a simple conquest, this is a calculated act of extermination. Horus sends loyalist space marines to the planet under false pretenses, and then orders a devastating virus bombardment, followed by ground assaults meant to wipe out the survivors. What follows is a grim, desperate struggle as loyalists, hopelessly outnumbered, fight not for victory, but for meaning. Their resistance is less about winning and more about refusing to surrender their honor. This is where Galaxy in Flames truly shines. It transforms a known historical event into a deeply personal tragedy. The emotional heart of the novel lies in its characters, especially Garviel Loken, Sol Tarvitz, and Tarek Torgadon. Loken continues his arc from the first two books as a man grappling with disbelief, betrayal, and loss. Tarvitz in particular stands out as one of the most compelling loyalist figures in the entire Horus Heresy. His resolve and moral clarity make him unforgettable. What's powerful is how Ben Counter portrays Space Marines, not as invincible warriors, but as soldiers clinging to ideals in a universe that is rapidly abandoning them. Even Horus himself is portrayed not as a cartoon villain, but as a tragic figure, convinced that his betrayal is justified, even necessary. That nuance adds weight to every act of violence. Now, several key themes dominate Galaxy in Flames. Betrayal, not just of the Emperor, but of Brotherhood itself. Loyalty versus obedience, when orders conflict with morality. And the death of idealism. The Great Crusade's dream begins to rot. The title Galaxy in Flames is not metaphorical. This book represents the moment when the Imperium's future is no longer bright, only brutal. The characters fight knowing history is against them, which gives their actions a tragic, almost mythic quality. Ben Counter's prose is straightforward and functional, prioritizing clarity and pace over elaborate language. The action scenes are intense, chaotic, and easy to visualize, especially during the orbital bombardment and urban warfare segments. However, this approach does come with some drawbacks. Some characters, particularly among the traitor legions, don't receive as much development as they could have. A few transactions feel abrupt, as though the book is racing to reach its historical destination. Still, the sense of urgency works in the story's favor. This is a book that feels like it's collapsing under its own momentum, much like the Imperium itself. Galaxy in Flames is the moment the Horus Heresy stops being a tragedy in the making and becomes a tragedy in motion. It's a brutal, emotional, and essential entry that rewards longtime fans and cements the tone for the rest of the series. While it may not be the most elegantly written Warhammer novel, its impact is undeniable. Now, I'm giving it a final rating of 8.5 out of 10. If you're invested in the Horus Heresy, this book is non-negotiable reading. It burns bridges, shatters brotherhoods, and leaves scars that the Imperium will never heal. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe for more Warhammer 40k book content, and let me know in the comments which Horus Heresy novel should I cover next. Until next time, guys, the galaxy burns.